Well, it looks like my coverage of the International Cannabis Business Conference will be horribly suppressed by the algorithm, but let's give it a try anyway. The first thing that struck me from the main stage was that this is very much a business conference. I'm here walking around with all the booths, but when the founder, Alex Rogers, said about the right to homegrow being one of the most important rights you can have, the cheering for that was not as loud as it was for other things he said, because homegrow is a big threat to the profits of companies like these. So, anyway, and for those of you who aren't in the know, it's very cool to be in Germany right now, because it was just 15 days ago that they didn't legalize, but they decriminalized and allowed for 25 grams to be grown, 3 plants, and there should be cannabis social clubs by the end of the year. Then they had the head of Leafly, the CEO Yoko Miyashita, and she talked about the importance of fighting cannabis illiteracy. And one interesting fact was that taxes north of 33% send people back to the illicit market. And that's something I'm always harping about. Taxes are too damn high. It's too hard for the businesses. And she talked about how important it is for expungement to be automatic, and a really beautiful line about how much cannabis helps to build and to heal and to bring communities together. And finally, the last talk was by Peter Hamburg, perhaps the most handsome of the cannabis lawyers I've ever seen. Beautiful head of white hair. But he said something interesting about how in Stuttgart, which is not into this cannabis thing, the police can arrest you for contempt if you have cannabis, because they will ask you, where did you get this cannabis? Because the only way you can get cannabis here is by growing it. And since legalization, or whatever it is, was only 15 days ago, you couldn't have grown it in that time. And so if you don't answer the questions for them, they will arrest you for contempt. And I thought that was pretty wild, because I didn't realize how strict the law here was. If you grow cannabis for yourself, you are not allowed to give it to anybody else. And so at this point, the only thing you do is grow your own. They are planning to have cannabis social clubs, though, by the end of the year. And so the timeline was Germany went medical cannabis in 2017, and then it was in 2022 that the health minister proposed the new cannabis bills. But it took 2 years for Germany to figure out their system and to regulate it. But you know what? They did a pretty darn good job, and everyone here is really proud of themselves for doing it, and I can see why. So that is the updates for now. The last thing is the numbers, and they're not as big as I thought. The European market is supposed to be $6 billion for this year and $7.2 billion by 2029, and that is roughly broken up between CBD, medical, and recreational, and then a smaller slice for pharmaceutical. So that is the update from the International Cannabis Business Conference so far. If you have any questions about what it's like being on a floor like this, just let me know.